Unwit. Inasa unwit. Inasa unwit. Inasa unwit. 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 Inasa unwit. Actually, no way. I have to check. Unwit. Okay, yeah, it is working. All right. Sorry about that. Gotta go over here. Unwit. 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 Let me move Peter first. There you go. Hey, you know the best part about all this? I get to deep fry it. Oh, wait. No, no, no. Souyjuro, put you there. And now we deep fry it. No, no brightness. Unwit. 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 Oh, what the heck? What in the world did I just do? There you go. Why did I undock it? That's so weird. Yeah. Anyway, so anything I can do here. I don't know Souyjuro, but like on the whole thing itself. Image. I can't put a filter on it yet because I haven't. Whack. whatever. Export. JPEG. Souyjuro cracking cards. There you go, and then Souyjuro cracking cards. I put a filter on it. It even has a filter. Raw filter. I'll do that later tonight. I'm doing a stream right now, so I can't contrast. Sure, why not? Yeah, just put the contrast. Minus 2, 100, 100. Alrighty. Yep, that's fine. Yep, Souyjuro cracking cards. Souyjuro cracking cards. Alrighty, yep, we're all set, we're golden. Let's, it's time to play the game. It's time to play the game. Don't worry about that, and then pop. It's time to play the game! Okay, put my thing here. Oh man, it's been a little bit since I played this game. It's because life. Because of life, that's really it. But you know, it is what it is. At least I got the chance to play it now, so I'm happy. But yeah, no, we're back. So I know I had another extra story I had to do, which this one right here. But before I do that, we're gonna do the wonderful war deploys. Let's read. Adorable. That's so cute. What's a familiar?
黒い魔法の魔の字も知らない全国のシャバゾーども。ヒロインにならんと高校デビューしたものの、真のヒロインにその座を奪われた青セーターども。こんばんはっす。よくわからない話をよくわからない方向でレクチャーする新番組、なぜなにプロイの時間っすよ。司会はグレート3プラス1ことコマドリザ・クルック。ティーチャー役にはマイ天使であるところのアリスさんをお招きしたっす。つうかここアリスさんの部屋っすね。時間になってもアリスさんがスタジオに来ないんで、アリスさんの部屋にカメラ持ち込んだっすよ。発想の転換なんす。ゲストが来ないならゲストの部屋でやればいいじゃない。
いいから始めてちょうだい。1秒でも早く終わらせて、光より早く出ていって。
ういやー、照れるっすー。のたうち回るっすー。
なぜ？
いや、自分的にビジネスはすぐに終わらせて、あなたとプライベートタイムに入りたいなと解釈したっす。人語の奥の深さってやべえっすよね。正直相手や自分が何を伝えたいのか9割方は意味不す。
そうね。 私もその意見には賛成よ。
うわ、このほとばしる信頼感、頼られるって時に重いっす。というか物理的に重いっす。
So you know what's funny? These are the books that we have in the what's it called in the archives. That's a crazy looking JPEG, by the way. But like when we go back to the archives, these are the books that we see. Of course, those are numbered and they have titles, but these are the same models. That's so funny.
ロビン、
チャス。今回は処方の処方、使い魔の説明っすよ。魔術音痴の一元さんに優しい授業、それがなぜなにプロイなわけっすね。で、この使い魔ってなんすか、アリスさん。自分生まれてこの方見たことも聞いたこともないっすよ。
使い魔というのは魔術師が刺激するロボットみたいなものよ。古来から魔術師は工房にこもって研鑽を重ねるのがなりわいだから、信頼できるものに素材集めや外界の偵察、外敵の駆除を任せるの。
ただの駒使いっすね。それは弟子とは違うんすか？
違うわ。弟子というのは技を引き継いで死を超える後継者でしょ。彼らはいずれ死を超える義務があるし、死もそういうものでなければ弟子には取らないわ。でも使い魔は作られた時の性能が全てだから、成長しないものを後継ぎにはできないわ。
そっか、通りで自分何年経っても記憶容量増えないわけっすね。しかるに生まれた時からパーフェクトだったと。
そうね、パーフェクトに役立たずね。使い魔の多くは小動物をベースに作られるわ。これは使い魔は術者からの魔力供給で活動するタイプが多いから。使い魔は大きいほど魔力提供を必要とする。だから魔力消費も少なく、作ってしまえば動力を自力で補充できる小動物は便利なの。
自分狩りとかしたことないっすよ。タンパク質も食物繊維もいらないっす。
あなたたちプロイはまた別のくくり。とにかく魔術師たちにとって使い魔は自分の命令を聞く従者、ペットだと思えばいいわ。
That's so
このよう
cute.
に猫や鳥、ネズミを使い魔にするのが一般的ね。
アリさん、この物騒なのはどういうカテゴリーっすか？
これは戦闘用に調律された自動人形。ここまで来るとファミリアというよりセンチネルだけど。
Give me 1 second, please. Pop, pop, pop. Look in the description.
これは使い魔のセオリーから外れた特注品よ。またあなたのように人間互換できる知性を持った使い魔も特例に当たるわ。でもそんなのは魔力の無駄ね。コストが高いだけ。大抵は術者本人が済ませた方が早かったり、もっと安い材料で代用できるから。
手段と結果を間違えるってやつっすね。
There you go. Alright.
じゃあ使い魔は術者より弱いんすね。あくまで前座ってことっすか？うわ、マジ使えないやつらっす。
あなたらしい短絡思考ね、ロビン。しびれるわ。これが私の使い魔だなんてどうにかなってしまいそう。
アリスさん、言葉は素敵なのにどうして顔が怖いんすか？
術者の10分の1ぐらいの性能しかなくても、本人より強い使い魔を作ることは簡単よ。試しに今度あなたのお腹にデリンジャーを埋め込んでみましょうか。泣いたり笑ったり飛んだりはできなくなるけど、 相手を驚かせるぐらいはできるわ、きっと。
コマドリザクラッカー、かっちょいいっせー。クリスマスに大活躍の予感。
まさに豆鉄砲ね。そのまま消費されてくれないかしら。
Wow, how did she say all of that in... Wow.
なんか当たりきついっす。でもこれで大まかな説明はしたっすね。スカイマは魔術師を守るロボットで、その性能は作った魔術師によってまちまちと。安納感あふれるアリスさんはともかく、青子さんが使い魔を作ったらどうなるっすか？
ありえない過程ね。青子には使い魔を作るだけの技量はないもの。そもそも彼女は壊すことしかできないのよ。その唯一の特技を使い魔に任せてしまったら、存在意義も跡形もなく壊れてしまうわ。
Well, that's a bit reductive, isn't it?
戦闘において青子は使い魔に任せる必要がない。逆。
はあ、さりげにひどい発言っす。なるほど。青子さんは青子さん自身が強い。アリスさんはアリスさんの周りが強い。
I can't get over this expression, bro. It's frying me.
チェス、いえ、将棋で例えるなら青子は王将だけの陣営。私は陣営こそ強力だけど、王将自体が負の能力しかない。
アリスさんは体力も運動神経もないうんちキャラだったっす。泳ぎは犬かきしかできない。鉄棒もできなければ自転車にも乗れない。体育の時間は校庭の端っこで座っているだけの簡単なお仕事だが、それがいい。自分盗撮してるから知ってるっすよ。巻いてしよう。ただ美しく。あれ
失礼ね。私だって走るだけなら少しはこなせるわ。
Sponsored by Tight Moon, huh? Alright. The wonderful road of ploys. And now, time for the second one. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. So cute.
こんちは。日課のマンウォッチをこなし、颯爽と円に降り立つ青い影。さしずめ鳥は舞い降りたというところっすか。今回はここアリスさんが指定した特設会場でレクチャーを始めるんすけど、ここどう見ても普通の円っすよね。アリスさんはどこに？
遅かったわね、ロビン。出演者としての自覚はあるのかしら。
はっ、声忘れども姿はなしっす。ここには園児しかいないというのに、アリスさんはどこに？
ここよ。
Oh my gosh, what am I reading?
なぜなにプロイ。
Oh my gosh, she's such a sweetheart. Oh, hold on, I want to rewatch that. I want to rewatch that, please.
なぜなにプロイ。
That's so cute. Oh my gosh. Goodness gracious, this character's such a sweetheart.
なぜなにプロイ。なぜ黙っているのかしら、ロビン。
いや、別に何でもないっす。自分的には何の違和感もなかったところが余計怖かっただけっす。さすがマイ天使であるところのアリスさん。何を着てもヤバいぐらい似合うっす。ほんとバイヤー。ところで素朴な疑問なんすけど、ここで何を？あとなんで？
マンネリズムは良くないでしょ。おまけコーナーだからって 素材を使い回すのは私の美学に反するわ。
だから場所を変えたすか。
マンネリズムは良くないでしょ。おまけコーナーだからって素材を使い回すのは私の美学に反するわ。なんとか道場じゃあるまいし。
だから場所を変えたすか。なるほど、それはおおむね理解したっす。青子さんもびっくりの浪費かぶりっす。でも自分スモックよりワンピの方が好みなんすよね。ドレスみたいなの、女神っぽいの。いや、スモックがダメという話ではなくてっすね、あくまでイメージの問題。絵画にした時の説得力、森と鳥と少女みたいな。あ、ほら、鳥と園児じゃ園児のインパクトが強すぎて鳥にフォーカスが当たらないっつうか。
いけない、歌詞作りの途中だったわ。
ナチュラルに無視。ところでアリスさんは普段何をやってるっすか。青子さんは生徒会、シャバゾウはアルバイト、アリスさんは帰宅部っす。
見ての通りよ。時間があればプロイを作っているわ。
Oh my gosh, I'm literally speechless. This is so adorable. Oh man.
わあ、まんま童話の魔女のイメージっす。プロイって鍋で作ってたっすか。っていうか、この匂いはチョコレート。まさかプロイってお菓子だったんすか。
あなたね、プロイのくせにプロイの仕組みを知らないの。気づきたくはなかったけれど、やっぱりただの鳥だった。
そのあたり自分でもよくわからないっす。でもプロイの仕組みはわかるっすよ。なぜならこれからアリスさんが海より深く空より広くかっちょいい説明してくれるからっす。
本編で説明している通りよ。以上、解散。
このコーナーの根底を崩す一言っすね。
何か意見があって？
ナイス。でもせめて概要だけでもレクチャーしてほしいっす。これじゃあこのコーナーなんとか道場以下っすよ。
それは避けたいわね。それじゃあこれがプロイキッシャーの綴り。これだけで説明になると思うのだけど。
プロイキックシャー？
キックシャーの句はほとんどサイレントよ。西欧圏の子供のおもちゃ、子供だまし、軽蔑的に珍しいものといった意味ね。
あ、知ってるっす。それ変人の意味でも文字。
プロイも同様に西欧圏のおもちゃで、こっちは戦争特化に使われるもの。子供の教育用玩具の総称ね。
Oh, the sound effects, man, they're getting me so bad. Oh no.
戦略、戦術の俗語でもあり、スコットランドだとな意味もあるけれど、それは忘れて。
この2つの単語を無理やりつなげたのがプロイキッシャーなんすね。もしかしてアリスさんオリジナル？
私の母に伝わっていた独自の魔術系統よ。魔術協会に公開して権利と利益を得る。
まあ公開したところでアリスさんにしか扱えないんですけどね。マインスターの血に縛られてるっす。
あなた本当はちゃんと分かっているんじゃないの？
すまないっす。今何言ったのか忘れたっす。自分昔のことは未来よりあやふやっすから。
マインスターというのは何？
マイ女神っす。アリスさんの母君っすね。あと純潔の魔女とかいかにもなセカンドネームがあったんす。でも母君ミーハーだったんすよね。流行り物に弱いというか、ルイス・キャロルの大ファンでもあったんす。魔女は自分の代で先代から残されたプロイを自分用にチューンナップするっすよ。 ハギにキャロルにハマってたから始末っす。金を犯した時もノータイムで名前はアリスにしましょうなって微笑んだぐらいっすから。
呆れた。少女趣味の塊だったのね、あの人。
何言ってるっすか。シャバゾウが帰ってくると必ず目を覚ますアリスさんも負けてはいない。
次回のレクチャーはプロイキッシャー個別にしましょう。それじゃロビン、お店の予約をしておいて。それが済んだらチョコレートの湯煎、それが済んだら鏡の磨き、それが済んだらそうね、電柱にでもぶつかって盛大に死んでちょうだい。
いつも通りってことっすね。アリスさんなんか当たりきついっす。
私本来はこういうキャラよ。本編では面倒だから黙っているだけ。
面倒って何がっすか？
あなたのようなを罵るのにいちいちカロリーを使うとか、それだけの価値があると思って。
Wow, okay. I don't want to assume what she said, but I imagine it's not good.
自分グリコのキャラメルイカだったっすね。でもそれなら舐めてほしいっ
す。そうね。それでも死なないか一度試してみましょうか。
ノータイムで丸かじり。やっぱりプロ言っておかしなんす。おめえ。
What's this one? I can't read it. I don't know what it says. Alrighty, well, that's 1 and 2 done. And now with that being said, let's move on to the Carnegie case. Okay. I gotta pick myself up by the bootstraps because now I have to talk. Let's do it. No matter how busy one is, any person living within human... What? Oh, okay. Any person living within human means is certain to have at least some free time. Yeah, usually when you're sleeping if you're really busy. Before or after eating, for example. It's difficult to eliminate the time required to prepare a meal and the time after one finishes eating. This is particularly the case for those who do a lot of thinking. Oh, excuse me. Since the body needs to use energy to digest after eating, there's less available for the brain to use.
ナイキはあれでしょ？ 2K の文字りでしょ？アテナの持ってる縦じゃなくて小さな勝利の女神の方。陸上競技に勝つってイメージじゃない？
You know, it's funny. I actually never thought about that, how the symbolism of Nike being called Nike. Of course, like, yeah, it's meant to represent the goddess who was the goddess of victory. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I just never thought about it. I think Adidas, excuse me, is what's the word? French. I think it's French. I don't remember. I gotta look it up actually. But yeah, let me see now. Let's see. Where's Adidas meaning? Oh, never mind. No, it's not French. Yeah, no, it's based off of the creator who was German, Adolf Adi Dassler. It's just Adi and Das. Yeah, no, there's not much meaning to it. Never mind. Give me 1 second. second, please. There you go. Man, I hate working on the weekends. Hey, whatever.
さ
Anyways,
すがブランド品とか大好きな青子さん。どうでもいい知識だけはそれなりっすね。
the studious resident of the mansion was now taking refuge on the sofa, looking exhausted. Alka was talking to the robin perched on a table. The bluebird flapped its wings, doing its best to join in on the after-dinner conversation. Alice was reading in the sunroom. Discussion of how to deal with the encroaching enemy mage. Here. We're gonna start for at least another 30 minutes.
じゃあアディダスはもしかしてアディオスの文字りっすか？
あれは普通に名前じゃなかったっけ？ほら、グリム童話みたいに作った兄弟の名前がそのままブランド名になっちゃったのよ。
ブラザ
I
ー
heard
グ
of
リム
Grimm
は
fairy
童話を
tales.
作ったわけじゃないわ。
What?
埋もれていた口伝を収集して物語に仕立て直して丁寧に編纂した人たちよ。
I've
職人というより学者の類ね。
I've heard of these, the Grimm fairy tales, because I think I read some of them in school or was it in college? I forgot, but I remember those actually. Interesting.
まあ多少は詐欺しめいたところもあるけれど。
へえ。じゃあアンデルセンは？人魚姫とか親指姫とか超メジャーだけど。あと醜いアヒルの子。
It's so funny seeing Hans Andersen in a tight moon work that isn't Fate Grand Order. That's so
自
funny.
分裸の王様とかたまんないっす。シンパシー感じるっすよ。あのクリスタルキングに。
アンデルセンは学者というより作家でしょうね。彼の創作意欲は裕福層や大衆、平凡な幸福を得ている人々、果ては女性像への憤りから生まれたものだと言われているし、知的好奇心から筆を取ったのではなく感情を訴えるために筆を取った人。あまりこういう説明はしたくないのだけれど、それぞれ分けて説明するなら、マザーグースは歌、ブラザーグリムは物語、アンデルセンは偶話ね。
ミツバチバッチはアニメっすね。ところで青子さん、アシックスの由来は何すか？
これは私も小学校の頃友達に聞いたものなんで真偽はわからないんだけど、アシックスってもともと3つの会社が合併してできた会社なのよ。で、3社の社長が集まると足が6本になるじゃない？だから足シックス、あくまで俗説だけどね。
Alice had dropped her book on the floor of the sunroom and was biting her lip. She was clearly trying to feign calm and to breathe as if nothing had happened. She thought she was doing a convincing job of it.
あの子の笑いのツボもわかんないわね。
それはどうすかね。あんまりにもつまんなかったから怒ってるのかもしれないっす。だってアリスさん、怒り浸透しても笑顔になるんすよ。自分たまに見るっす。アリスさんの日記を盗み見てると後ろでそういう顔してるっす。それ以上見ると死ぬわよって。でも勘弁してほしいっす。見ちゃうものは見ちゃうっすよ。自分から素行調査を取ったらもう基礎本能しか残らない気もするっす。
You monster. Leave her alone. The Robin felt compelled to give a counter-argument for some reason. Alka let out a sigh. Even Alice sympathized with her over the difficult familiar.
ただいま。お、今日は2人ともいるんだな。
It was at this time that Souyjuro returned. Must have just gotten home from his part-time. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, remote. Where are you? Right here. It's time to play the game.
おかえり。
Got home from his part-time.
お疲れ様。
Ako's warm welcome was quite the opposite for the fate response from the sunroom.
夕食は済ませてきたからいらないよ。じゃあ夜のバイトに備えてちょっと寝てくる。
Souyjuro still gave Alice a wave as he left. The dull thud of something dropping was heard as he entered the hallway.
おーい、なんか落ちたわよ。
Ako peeked out from the sofa at the elder Souyjuro.
ああ、ポケットに入れっぱなしだったわ。
Souyjuro calmly and naturally walked back to pick up what looked like to be some kind of envelope. Perhaps it was instinct, but the human eye was shown emotion, even if it was something one had no personal interest in. Alco keenly followed Sojuro's hand with her eyes. Oh, a wad of cash. She had to restrain herself from shouting her thoughts out loud as she leaped from the sofa.
どうした青崎？
どうしたってその。
Alco found it difficult to come up with a proper response to the pure, innocent eyes staring back at her. She was ashamed at how she had jumped at the enticing sight of so much money.
なんでもない。そうよね。普通にアルバイトの給料日よね。にしても結構もらってんのね、あんた。
There was an awkward pause before Souyjuro smiled and returned back to his room. Alco sat back down on the sofa, still feeling a bit awkward. Oh, this goofball. That was what it's about. This was what set it all off. Began a series of events that Robin would later name the Dosh Affair. It's time to play the game. It was the next day, around the same time as the previous day's incident. Alco was coming to pour some tea and relax when she heard Souyjuro and Robin engaged in some kind of debate in the drawing room.
その人が言うには、人と会うたびに小さな親切を尽くしてあげるべきだと。そうして一日がたった一回の言葉だけの親切でも、相手にとっては大きな意味があるんだそうだ。それが思いもよらない幸福を運んでくる。
うは、だから自分にビーフジャーキーくれたっすか？でもそれ親切じゃなくて袖の下っていう伝統芸能じゃないっすかね。アンダーハート見え見えっす。
Sojuro's serious demeanor was more like a consultation or a proposal than it was idle chatter.
まあ、あいつが妙なのはいつものことか。
Haku decided to ignore what was going on in the drawing room and headed straight for the sunroom. There she saw Sojuro's coat on a chair.
ちょっと宗十郎、コート置きっぱなしじゃない。今のコート掛けが自分の部屋に持って行って。
She stopped herself mid-sentence. She could see the same kind of envelope that Souyjuro had dropped on the ground yesterday inside his coat pocket, and it was even thicker than the one she saw the day before. She wouldn't allow herself to make a spectacle about it like she did yesterday. She reminded herself that she was a model student and a student council president. Oh, I'm sorry, Nico. I did not mean. I feel like I know the guy. I don't know the guy. There you go.
さーて、紅茶紅茶っと。
Yep, don't take the money. Don't take the money. Feigning disinterest, she listened in on a conversation going on in the drawing room. Souyjuro was still in deep conversation with Robin. Perhaps he hadn't heard the girls.
互いの孤独は万人に平等だ。一見して身勝手な暴力じみた押し着せの善意も長い目で見ればその人のためになる。
なるほど。 親切の押し付けには一銭もかからないっすからね。ちゃんちゃん人助けするっすよ。
うん。ただより高いものはないって言うけどね。
どっちっすかこのシャバゾン。
Hoko was so intent on eavesdropping, she completely forgotten that she'd come to pour a cup of tea. There's no way she could ignore such a suspicious
こう
conversation.
も言うんだ。幸福になりたければ、初めは恨まれてもいいと。やれ金を返せだの詐欺師だの言われても、いずれその人のためになると分かっていれば、心を鬼にできる。人に尽くしている喜びが、後ろめたさとか帳消しにするらしい。
それ知ってるっす。でも微妙に違うような。
Hako agreed with the Robin in this case. Souyjuro was referring to the words of a famous entrepreneur. If we want to find happiness, let's not thinking about gratitude or ingratitude, and give for the inner joy of giving. That was the actual quote.
あるいはこうとも。貯金のある人は、その富を温存するよりも、会社がより豊かになるために使うべきだと。
それも知ってるっす。でももう完全に違うような。
Hako was becoming upset with how much she was agreeing with the Robin at this point. This is a quote from an even more famous entrepreneur. Surplus wealth is a sacred trust which Surplus wealth is a sacred trust which its possessor is bound to administer in his lifetime for the good of the community. This is how that one was supposed to go.
信じられるのはお金だけなのかもしれない。だって奥さんも子供もずっと一緒にいてくれるわけじゃない。不幸な事故で先立たれることだってある。でもお金は別だった。お金で幸福は買えないけど、幸福はお金になる。今は人の親切と温かい布団があればそれでいいと、その人は言った。
なんか無性にらしくないこと言ってるわね。
Yeah, now what is he talking about? Though his words were a bit strange and worrisome, Hako couldn't spend much time worrying about it. She didn't have the capacity to worry about anyone else right now. Her battle with the enemy mage was always lurking just beneath the surface.
どっちにしろ私には関係ないか。
Hako shrugged it off and turned her attention away from the drawing room. She told herself that she would forget about all this commotion by tomorrow anyway. But she didn't, because she won't. Look, that my mama jit like we rich.
ただいま。
Ooh, new Jimmy High Roller video, that's fire. Okari. Souyjuro was back from his job with a smile on his face again today. Work truly was its own reward. His mood was infectious, and Akko smiled back while relaxing on the. Oh, that's so cute.
はい、お疲れ様。
That's so cute. Oh my gosh. That. Oh man, I don't know why, but hearing that Souyjuro was in a good mood and then her reciprocating it just off of the basis that, like, you know, it's what's it called? It's the courtesy of, you know, being kind to somebody when they come home. Because you're not, like, I don't always say, like, oh, welcome home to my family, but I do it sometimes. Mostly because, like, you know, it's nice. So seeing this and her smiling, it's like, aw. You guys have come so far.
休んでていいわよ。今日は昼からずっとバイトだったんでし
Yeah,
ょ。
this is so nice.
夕飯ならこれから作って何？
Hold on, what? Oh
夕
man.
飯ならこれから作って何？
That's hilarious. Her smile suddenly turned frigid.
どうした青崎。木の実の冗談を聞いた時みたいな顔して。
But shh.
どうしたじゃない。いい加減黙っていられなくなった。いいからそのポケットのもん出しなさい。
Souyjuro reached in and pulled out the contents of his pocket without knowing why he was being scolded. He placed the now all too familiar brown envelope on the table. It was far too thick to be any normal envelope. Bright and enticing, it was imbued with an enchanting aura all its own. There was nothing else it could be than a stack of cash.
まあ、これはどうしたの、しずきくん。
Alice innocently says Souyjuro. She was a bit dazzled at the sight, but there was no mistaking it for an illusion.
バイト代だよ。
そうそれはいいことだわ。明日はごちそうね。
The two remained calm, despite the abnormally large wad of cash before them. That being said, the one with the most common sense in the house finally had to speak up.
んなわけないでしょ。ちょっと宗十郎、そこに正座。どういうことか説明なさい。
He is not a kid. She knew more than anyone how serious this was.
説明って何をだ？
決まってるでしょ。この札束の正体よ。あんた今何やってんの？どう考えてもまっとうな職種とは思えないんですけど。
まっとうだぞ。この新しいバイトは少なくとも法には触れていないと聞いた。ちゃんとやれば危ない目にも合わない。コンビニエンスストアより割がいいし、俺でも簡単にできるという。
Unbelievable. Alko was just about dizzy with rage at this point. Rage? At least not illegal. That's like when an obviously drunk person tries to contend that they're indeed quite the contrary.
正気に戻れ。日ごとお金が倍々に増えていくバイトなんてあるわけないでしょ。いいから仕事の内容を言いなさい。内容を。あんたどう考えても騙されてるから。
Oh, she's like an older sister. This is so cute. Souyjuro kept his mouth shut. He didn't seem to be too threatened by Alko's reprimand.
ダメだ。いくら青崎でも教えられない。あんまり人に話すことがない。でも安心してくれ。分類的にはちょっとした人助けと言えるだろう。あと紹介してくれた人とは一度しか会ってないし、支払いは常に現金だ。
この田舎バカ。その文脈からして怪しすぎるんだっていうの。
Yeah, this sounds crazy. Alko stamped her foot in frustration, but who could blame her after hearing the standard lines for a scam? It's the new job, the pay is good and anyone can do it, and I'm not supposed to talk about it. Despite all that, Souyjuro was still refusing to spill the beans. They hadn't known each other for that long, but Alko was well aware of Sojuro's personality. Steadfast explained him well. Once he made a decision, nothing could make him change his mind about it. Times like this, it was near impossible to get him to talk.
厄介な。
Alko backed off, realizing it would be a challenge to get him to say anything at this point. Souyjuro couldn't figure out what was upsetting her.
なんで青崎は怒ってるんだ？
Alko decided to give up on getting anything useful out of him.
そんなうまい話はないからよ。アリスもそう思うでしょ。
そうね。青子の言いたいことはわからないけど、しずきくんはもっとやるべきだと思う。
And so, Alice contributed absolutely nothing useful. Oh man. Alko collapsed onto the
青
sofa.
崎、
いいわよもう。よくわかんない理由で話す気ないんでしょ、宗十郎は。考えてみれば、あんたなんてただの同居人なわけだし、私があれこれ文句言う筋合いはなかったわ。
Alko shoots Souyjuro over her hand. Unfortunately, she wasn't going to be able to sit there and stew like she wanted to. She just couldn't ignore this problem like Alice.
あいつはどう見ても騙されてるし、最終的にとばっちり食らうのは私だし。
She needed to be bold and make him quit his new job. This new job of his immediately. It was what a true friend would do. And it was also her duty as the student council president. However, Alko started to think otherwise. Morals and a clear conscience were important, sure, but for a student living solely off of their parents' generosity, that kind of money was hard to pass up.
そうね。最終的に辞めさせるのは絶対にしても、これまで稼いだお金を捨てるのはもったいないし。仕方ない。ここは絡めてでいくか。
The wicked, scheming student council president sank deeper into the sofa. Her ability to play things by ear and her miserly nature was both her strongest and weakest points. The next day, noon. Ako waited until her roommates were gone, and then picked up the phone in the foyer.
もしもし飛び丸、宗十郎がこんなことになってるんだけど、あんた心当たりない？
The sound of the first train leaving the station could be heard far off in the distance. This was that time of the morning when the town was deciding it felt like waking up or not. Tobimaru Sakuji was having a walk down the streets at sunrise, enjoying the fresh, crisp morning air.
ほんと、街ってのは人間がいないだけで綺麗なもんだ。
The crowds had become a common complaint of Tobimaru's. To him, the tacky, over-decorated street corners were the embodiments of human desire. At this time of day, the streets were nothing like the circus, tent of activity they usually were. The main street was completely empty. It was like a lonely, tranquil morning after a festival. Weary men in black were busy cleaning up and restoring order in the bars after the previous night's revelry. Around the back entrance to the local restaurants, the kitchen crew were busy bringing in their daily ingredients while stifling back tired yawns. Birds carelessly wandered the streets. There wasn't even the sound of a single car engine to be heard. This was a uniquely refreshing sensation that can only be felt from a city morning. It existed somewhere between daily life and exciting entertainment. This was the only time of day when the bustling modern world stepped aside for a slower, more nostalgic pace.
そうか。
Torimaru searched through his coat pockets, but only found some old receipts. He arranged a scarf around his neck to keep the cold wind at bay. Meandering through the city streets, he ended up at Central Park just as the morning magic began to fade. His stroll had no particular purpose. It wasn't for his health or anything like that. He was merely making his way home after a night out on the town.
バカらしい。何やってんだか。
Torimaru had a moment of unabashed self-reflection as he drank a can of vending machine coffee. He didn't particularly hate partying all night long. It was pretty boring since he still wasn't old enough to drink alcohol. He'd been at it for a few days now, thinking it was at least better than being at home, but he was quickly growing bored of it.
年末に親戚筋が集まるのは仕方がねえし。
He grinned wryly at his own lame excuse. It was true that he was out wasting time like this because he didn't really have a place to go home to at the moment. The Sakuji family always had a congregation of relatives over on New Year's Day, as per his grandfather's orders. This is why his siblings and other relatives have been staying over at the been staying around the whole time. Tsukiji home for a few days now. Tsukiji, not Tsukuji. If Tobimaru was there, he'd just provide fuel for the fire. He decided to avoid the family drama and not go home while everyone was there. They just greet him with insults anyway. And if someone tried to start a fight, he knew he wouldn't be able to resist the bait. It would only cause even more resentment and trouble for his father. So for Tobimaru, there was nothing more pointless or less enticing than getting involved in the sibling squabbles over the inheritance. Tobimaru Tsukiji was the fifth-born son to the Tsukiji family, which owned multiple plots of land in Misaki City. However, most of that land had been acquired after the war, but before that, there had been a minor noble family on the brink of ruin. The man who built the Tsukiji family in its current glory was Kimikuni Tsukiji, Tobimaru's grandfather and the current patriarch. Kimikuni married into the struggling Tsukiji family and saved them after they lost all their power during the war. The Tsukiji clan were local Shinto clergy and relied upon Kimikuni's financial assets. Kimikuni, on the other hand, had leveraged clan connections to establish himself in Misaki City. While both parties came together for mutual gain, the Tsukiji family failed to recognize just how ambitious Kimikuni was when they accepted him into their family. He wasn't the obedient son-in-law they had imagined. He had grand plans of his own, growing and developing industries within Misaki City and many other areas as well. Kimikuni controlled all of those areas, not as a member of the Tsukiji family, but under his own name. A castle's greatest defense was its moat, not the walls. And the Kimikuni bridged the moat. And Kimikuni bridged the moat. It was the economic equivalent of starving out the enemy. Kimikuni's financial might subdued the noble Tsukiji family completely. In less than 10 years, there was someone in the family who could stand up against him. This businessman, accepted into the family as a mere son-in-law, had seized the Tsukiji name and the entirety of the family fortune. However, Kimikuni fathered many children. He would not allow the Tsukiji bloodline to die out. That was also the only way to maintain the family fortune. His 3 sons and 1 daughter all married relatives of the Tsukiji family, thus strengthening the familial bonds that Kimikuni had weakened. Tobimaru was the 5th son of Hiroyoshi Tsukiji, Kimikuni's eldest son. 5th son is insane. However, his mother was not a member of the family. Tobimaru was the result of a fling with a mistress. The ignoble birth defined his place in the family. He was his father's love child. Although the family's dignity was somehow maintained since he was the son of Hiroyoshi, he wasn't difficult to imagine the level of mistreatment Tobimaru faced from his siblings and other relatives. Being raised in such a hostile environment made Tobimaru grow up far faster than he should have. His ability to think quickly and objectively was honed naturally within this challenging environment. However, those exact traits are also brought Tobimaru a great deal of trouble. Kimikuni Tsukiji. However, unfortunately, against all odds, this great leader of the Tsukiji family favored Tobimaru over everyone else, including his eldest son. Since Kimikuni had been a commoner himself, he did not believe in blood inheritance alone. To make matters worse, not a single coin from his great fortune had been given to any of his sons yet. The most loathsome thing in this world is the blood of the Tsukiji family. I never would have had any of you if I could have helped it. Those words were spoken at every family gathering, and they were the absolute truth. That is very... wow. I can't even imagine hearing that from your father, of all people. That sounds so dark. Goodness gracious. Oh, look at that. Kaliuchi's dropping an album. He'd taken a liking to Tobimaru after speaking with him at those annual family gatherings, and enjoyed playing chess with him in his spare time ever since. Everyone in the family was worried that Kimikuni would name Tobimaru his successor. In his way, Tobimaru had gone from being worthless to a threat in the eyes of Kimikuni's sons. The son who felt the most fear and hatred was Tobimaru's own father, Hideyoshi, who would have been the unquestionable heir as the eldest son. And this is how Tobimaru became estranged from his father. They no longer even lived in the same house. Hideyoshi always acted like they had a great father-son relationship in front of Kimikuni, but that would only last until his father was no longer around or until Tobimaru was officially named the heir. When that happened, it would be all-out war. In any case, it would not be a pleasant story. That's a really nice fit. Tobimaru scratched his head in frustration. He really wasn't all that worried though. In public, it looked like they had a good father-son relationship. In private, they were in the midst of a bitter inheritance dispute. Things had always been that way, even before he met Kimikuni. The only difference was that his sole protector, his father, was now his mortal enemy. Tobimaru had always been at odds with his family. His father was just one more enemy to add to that pile. Staying out all night like this was Tobimaru's way of avoiding his family. If he was home, he knew that he knew they would try to gauge his feelings. However, they wouldn't openly attack him now, even the relatives who looked down on him and his siblings who had bullied him as a child. The worst they would do was make snide remarks. Torimaru was, at his core, a peaceful person, who preferred to avoid trouble whenever possible. Petty revenge or even stepping up to Kimikuni's expectations weren't on his to-do list. His father's worries were unfounded. His relatives were getting riled up for no reason. And Tobimaru had no intention of stepping out of his role as the prodigal son. However, his siblings who were around the same age as him held a different kind of resentment. Perhaps they felt guilty for tormenting him all those years. Perhaps it was the result of their roles being reversed. He's gonna get back at us one day. They lived in such fear of this that they didn't dare ignore Tobimaru.
そのくせ根回しはうまくねえときた。青崎ぐらいの大胆さで突っ込んでくるんならまだスリルがあるってもんだがな。
His family problems were simply a chore. They never really worried him much. He was used to human malice, although he nearly died from physical abuse of his siblings. Even though someone had once tried to kill him with true murderous intent, even though he had been exposed to how the elite, untouchable class of society treated others by his eldest brother. It was all such a pain in the butt. These were all events that would change a person's outlook on life, but he always remained cool-headed. That was just things were for Tobimaru. He had grown bored of his relatives getting worked up over everything.
まあ、そのあたりは人それぞれか。親父殿には同情するけどな。あのじいさんの息子なんて波の根性じゃ務まらねえ。
Torimaru honestly could not care less about who would be the next heir. He had no clear plans for the future yet. Let's see, 1 second please. There you go. Alright. His only real goal was to wash his hands of his family and start fresh when he became an adult. Until then, everything that had happened was a life experience. He continued his morning walk, thinking it was better to enjoy the nightlife now while he was still young. Someone was already sitting on a bench when Tobimaru entered the plaza. The crows gathered there flew off at his approach. On the bench sat a girl dressed in black. A well-dressed old man with a cane sat with her. These are familiar faces, so he approached the bench to say hello. The old man and the girl looked as if they were grandfather and granddaughter. It seemed like a kind old man spending time with his grandchild. However, the truth was,
アリス、僕は今でも思うんだ。一体何がいけなかったのかって。考えられるサービスは全て実現させた。従業員への感謝も来園者への笑顔も忘れたことはない。なのに時代は僕を選ばなかった。それどころか僕の内なる芸術性を否定した。無念だ。死ぬがいい。腐った魚のようなマスコミどもめ。何が悪夢のクリーチャーか。あんな夢にまで見そうなマスコットが他にあるだろうか。やるまい。なのに連中と来たらネズミを二足歩行させれば満足と来た。そもそも犬をペットにする齧歯類とか冷静に考えたら怖いぞ。動物が動物をペットにするなんてモラルが低いにも程がある。あそこはやはり人間をペットにするべきじゃないんだろうか。
real cynical, huh? Actually, this poor young woman was getting an earful from this old man. After his outburst, he paused for a moment.
いや、これは失礼。 彦よ、紳士たれ。
He scolded himself and hung his head.
答えてくれ、アリス。一体僕のキッツイちゃんは何がいけなかったんだ。
角よ。角をつけるべきだったのよ。
The girl in black returned to the old man's solemn bow with a grim answer of her own.
いや、角はいけない。子供たちが怪我をしてしまうからね。僕は傷をつけるなら体ではなく心にしたい。
The girl nodded deeply, thinking over the implications of what this old man had just said. Oh. Toyomaru, you're taking too long.
さて、
Toyomaru didn't really want to get involved, but he was already too close. If he passed by without saying anything, the old man would certainly make a fuss.
こんちは。こんな朝っぱらからじくじく公開中かい。時津のじいさん。いつまでも引きずってると死に損なうぜ。さっさと往生して息子たちを安心させてやんな。
おや、どこの悪ガキかと思えば豊かの子供か。おはよう、トビー。君も相変わらず早起きだね。
俺は朝帰りですよ。お二人みたいに健康的じゃない。そら、クオンジのお嬢さんもおはようさん。
The girl looked up calmly at Tobimaru's greeting. It was none other than the witch on the hill, Alice Koonji.
こうしてまともに挨拶するのは2年前のパーティー以来か。何にせよ珍しいな。あんたがお付きなしで町に降りてきてるなんてよ。
そうでもないわ。この時間の公園は鳥を入れ替えるのにちょうどいいから。一人で散歩によく使うの。
ほう、そりゃ驚いた。箱入り娘じゃなかったのか、あんた。
ええ。その証拠にあなたがひどい顔で歩いているのを何度か見かけたわ。遊び歩くのは結構だけど、青子に迷惑かけないよう気をつけなさい。
ご忠告どうも肝に銘じておくよ。
Despite their casual greeting, Tobimaru and Alice rarely interacted, though their fathers were Kanan. Even so, the histories and spheres of influence of the two families were very different. Though the Tsukijis had sway in Misaki City, Koonji's influenced the whole of Japan. Normally, someone like Tobimaru would not be in the same social circles as Alice. The only reason they could interact like this at all is because they were both friends with Aoko Aozaki.
若菜、トビー、君はアリスと友人関係だったのか。もしかして二人はステディな関係だとか言うまいな。やめたまえ。言ったら大事になるぞ、トビー。僕は心臓麻痺で急死しかねない。犯人は君であり、凶器はアリスだ。
Yo, old man, what are you talking
無
about?
論死因はこう書いてくれ。そう聞くも無情な恋の病と。
クオンジのお嬢さんはどうしてこんなダメ老人と？俺と同じ親父関係の付き合いか？
There you go.
この人とはペンフレンド。分不相応にいいアンティークを持っているから、青子と二人で少しずつ取り上げているの。
Despite this being one of the only times they really talk, Toyomaru and Alice both managed to completely ignore the old man.
参ったな。アリスは照れ隠しもチャーミングだ。ところで、僕のことはユーリヒと呼んでくれていいんだよ。
Mr. Tokitsu gently took Alice's hand. Alice's face remained neutral like a doll's.
トッキー、私、いい絵付けのティーカップを探しているの。1900年代のラム工房のものとか。 どうかしら。
あるとも、もちろんあるとも。今度おっかないお友達と遊びに来るときまでに用意しておこう。
There you go. Alrighty. He responded to her request like an obedient marionette.
おいらくの恋って柄かよ。よくもまあ寝台潰さなかったもんだ。突版は。
You see, this old man was none other than Yorihiko Tokitsu. He was famous in Yashirogi as the former head of the Tokitsu Baking Company, with factories all across Japan. Still served as an advisor.
老人とはなんだ。芸術家にとっての老いとは感性の凍結であり、しかるに我が心の火は絶えていない。僕はまだ暑苦しいくらいに若いんだ。つぼみのような少女と恋を語らう楽しみは残っているさ。
Alright, man, let's relax.
この年になるともう世間体とかどうでもよくてね。女の子と話すことだけが人生の意味になるんだぞ。
Yeah, this dude's a pervert.
若いのかじいさんなのかどっちなんだよ。
おっと、失言。最後の方のは聞き流してくれ。僕が言いたいのは、女の子と穏やかな時間を過ごすのは最高ってことさ。トビー、そういうの君も好きだろ？
一緒にしないでください。あいにく俺は年上好みですよ。おまけに言うなら、二回り以上も年下の女に欲情する趣味もねえわけで。
それはそうだろう。君がやったら犯罪だ。トビーは17歳。その二回り下が何歳になるとか口に出したらいけないよ。
That's evil work. Mr. Tokitsu nodded his head in self-affirmation. He just ignored Tobimaru's off-color remarks. Tobimaru was reluctantly impressed with this man's magnanimity in the end.
ともかく挨拶はしましたから、邪魔者はこれで消えますよ。あとは仲良し同士、気兼ねなくどうぞ。
なんだトビー、これも縁だ。ゆっくりしていけばいい。なんなら今から僕の別荘に来るかね。ヘリコを呼ぶよ。楽しいぞ。
いや、お気持ちは嬉しいんですけどね。知る人が見ればとんでもなくブルジョワなメンツでしょこれ。今は避けたい気分なんですよ。
Tobimaru's choice of words made his present situation clear to Mr. Tokitsu, and he reluctantly backed off. Such intuitive understanding made it obvious how this man had expanded the Tokitsu Baking Company nationwide. He had divined Tobimaru's complicated family situation in an instant.
ミックによろしく。そろそろ引退して子供たちと仲直りするよう僕が言っていたと伝えてくれ。
はいはい。ぬかに釘だろうけど伝えておきますよ。じゃあな、クオンジさん。また朝に出会うことがあったら、その時は改めて挨拶させてくれ。
I'll silence either encourage or discourage this. Tobimaru shrugged and left the plaza. He walked leisurely away from the park and came to an area of the city that was under redevelopment. There was a radio tower under construction there that the Tsukiji family had a hand in. Most of the capital for that project was funded by foreign firms.
この電波塔は10年先を見越してのものです。いずれ携帯通信は目まぐるしい進歩を遂げるでしょう。まずはそのモデルケースとして私どもの技術を三崎市に普及させたいのです。
The man from the foreign firm shook on a deal with Tobimaru's father, Hideyoshi.
いずれは娘も三崎市に住まわせようと思っています。その時は あなたの息子さんともぜひ交友を深めて。
He was a handsome man who had the calm command of a leader. The fact that he had offered up his daughter to Tobimaru showed that he had researched the Tsukiji family's inheritance issues well.
親父も舐められてるって気づけよな。親父より先に俺に色目使いやがって。クソヤンキーが。そもそも金髪女の相手なんざ願い下げだぜ。向こうで海兵相手にケツ振ってろってんだ。
Come on, Tobimaru, that's so mean. There's no need to say that. That's so mean. Tobimaru stopped in his tracks after these muttered complaints. He decided to stop himself before he said anything worse, which already was pretty bad. He walked far enough already anyway. Sun was completely up now. There was nothing more to gain from wandering mindlessly. He turned his back to the radio tower and began heading home. 1 hour later.
坊ちゃん、お電話です。
Tobimaru had returned to the Tsukiji residence. He took the phone from the
もし
housemate.
もし飛び丸、宗十郎がこんなことになってるんだけど、あんた心当たりない？
Oh. Alcohol Ozaki was on the line. That was never a good sign.
とまあこういうわけなのよ。
Already upset. Already upset. That's hilarious. Give me 1 second, please. Hi, my phone is dying, so let me find my charger. Got it. Oh my goodness. Alright. I am falling asleep, so I'm having such a hard time. But I'm gonna try my best to stay awake for at least like another 20 or 30 minutes. Let's see.
すげえよ。安心できる要素が一つもねえ。
Souyjuro seems caught up in a strange part-time job. I'll wait for you in Central Park to talk about it. 10 minutes had passed since he had received his call from Akko and returned to the park. Tobimaru felt a light migraine coming on after hearing about the situation. The young girl and the old man from before were nowhere to be seen.
そんなこと言われるまでもなく分かってるよ。私だって人のアルバイトにケチつけたくないけど、どう考えても普通じゃないでしょ。あんたあいつから何か聞いてない？
悪いな。期待には応えられん。宗十郎はバイトに関しては秘密主義だ。任されているからには他言はできないとかなんとかな。
そうなのよね。あいつ他人の事情に関しちゃ缶詰みたいに義理がたいから、ガキガキにされない限り口割らないのよ。
ほう、それは青崎にそこまで言わせるとはね。宗十郎も信頼されたもんだ。
どういう意味よそれ。
タイはね、言葉通りに受け取ってくれ。お前基本的に何にだって怒るだろ。そんな女が学校外で世話を焼くなんてよ。
違うわよ。あいつが問題を起こしたら私たちにまで飛び火するじゃない。こんなの誰がどう見てもただのリスク回避でしょ。
なるほど、公務として見過ごせないってわけか。
そうよ。悪い？
いや悪かねえさ。むしろ尊敬するよ。 ほんと鉄の生徒会長だぜ。休日だっていうのに学校の評判を守るためだけに働けるとは。
だけってところを妙に強調するじゃない。まあ事実その通りだけど。
Hako's glance seemed to suggest she wasn't interested in hearing any objections. This little bluff was rather charming to Tobimaru, who was well aware of Souyjuro and Hako's current living situation.
別に。しかしまあ、そういうことなら副会長として付き合わなくっちゃな。会長は学校のために宗十郎を調査する。俺はそのサポートをしつつ、友人として宗十郎を気にかけるってことで。
Tomura said he would do as Alko asked, but for some reason she did not seem satisfied.
じゃあ、そうと決まれば早速始めますか。青崎のことだから、宗十郎の勤め先ぐらい突き止めてんだろ。住所どこだよ。
それが尾行したんだけどうまく巻かれちゃって。駅前から2丁目方面に曲がっていたのまでは確実なんだけど。
The vice president was used to this. He didn't bother saying anything about her going so far as to tell Souyjuro.
2丁目か。あの辺りだとパチンコとゲームセンターぐらいしか思い当たらねえな。1日に何万も稼げる店なんざねえぞ。
そうなのよ。というか知ってたら私が試したい気分だわ。飛び丸、念のために聞くけど、三崎町にあるお金の稼げる遊び場ってパチンコだけよね。
あ、親父の話じゃ風営法に引っかかる賭場はねえとさ。三崎町の顔役は話のわかるおっさんで、クリーンな極道を目指してるらしい。パチンコ経営だけで満足してるって話だ。
うん、それは知ってる。一応確認しただけ。でもそうなるとますます謎ね。ギャンブル以外でお金を売買にしていく仕事なんてちょっと思い当たらないんだけど。
ああ、体でも売ってるとしか思えない羽振りの良さだ。一晩いくらみたいな。
That is a crazy implication. That man is a minor. That is insane. There was a stark delay in Alko's reaction. It took her a few seconds to register what he was saying, but then her jaw dropped.
体ってあんた。
ほら、絵画のモデルとかバイト代は高いと聞くぜ。
It's
あ、うん、割はいいって言うわね。美大生ってお金持ちだし。そうよね。それぐらいなら別に。
まあヌードなのは当然だが。
結局裸じゃない。
Oh, yeah, that is true. Without any real information to go on, the conversation was quickly diverging from the topic at hand. Without knowing the location and the type of work, there really wasn't much to talk about.
明日もう一度宗十郎を尾行するしかないわね。二人がかりなら見失うこともないだろうし。
そうだな。他に手がかりもねえし、明日にするか。宗十郎の羽振りがいいだけじゃどうしようも。
Tomura furrowed his brow, seeing he had thought of something. His expression turned more dire by the second.
どうしたの、飛び丸。何か思い出した？
ああ、ちょっとな。そういえば最近妙に羽振りのいいバカが一人いたなって。そいつ3日ぐらい前から金に明かして合コンし放題って話なんだが、頭の痛いことに宗十郎と同じクラスのバカなんだよ、これが。
There were a few seconds of silence. Hako nodded. She had put two and two together.
あいつね。
The two immediately left the park to go find the suspect.
チャリース。
Alright, now let me see. How are we looking on time? What's the major? And I spent a good like a good 10 minutes making the thumbnail. It wasn't long at all, so yeah, alrighty. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there then. I am really tired, and you can probably tell because of the fact that I literally have been quiet for mad long, so I'm just gonna put that there, and then once you come back, we'll be gaming. But yeah, let me exit. Oh, I just exited the game entirely. Alright, well, anyways, thank you all for watching. Sorry it's a shorter stream, but oh man, I'm tired today. So it'll be a little bit of a shorter one, but I'll see you guys later. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Peace.